Hi. So I just wanted to hop on quick to tell you guys that it's so important to have your rituals for yourself. And I'll tell you why. Now, I was talking about like Palo Santo before or lighting candles, but I'm talking right now about self-discipline and taking care of yourself, okay? In your personal hygiene, in the way that you show up for yourself, because you are showing to the universe how you feel about yourself and the energy that you're giving out and that you're inviting back into your life, okay? And I know different people go through different things in life. Sometimes there's more hardship, there's more illnesses, there's very difficult situations, and I empathize with everyone. But taking care of yourself is something that's incredibly important, because most of us, regardless of what people go through, regardless of how we feel, we generally have people that look up to us. We have people who we need to take care of, and we can't take care of anyone else if we're not taking care of ourselves, especially as women, because generally speaking, no one's really taking care of us in a way that is required to stay healthy, to stay okay. Some women don't even get the bare minimum, okay? And that will be another topic for gentlemen. I want to also be like a guiding light for some gentlemen who maybe didn't have a lot of reinforcement when it comes to how they should show up for their woman, and I know there's a lot of relationships that end, and sometimes men go back questioning like, what happened, I wasn't this bad, and they keep trying to tell themselves that, the woman was the problem or whatever. But having been through some relationships, watching relationships, happen and evolve and end and, start and stuff like that, I can tell that there's a major like dissonance between how men and women see different situations and things, and how we look at each other, and we kind of look at each other through a veil, okay? A veil of difference, there's there will always be a difference between men and women. Everything in between, kind of, you identify as whatever. It's not, I wouldn't know how to talk about something that I am not aware of, that I'm not going through, that I'm not experiencing in terms of like gender specific stuff. So I'm talking about the traditional male and female relationship when they do get together, because it's the only style of relationship that I've been in. So please don't think that I'm excluding anyone. I don't know. Okay, so I don't want to talk about what I don't know, or what I haven't what I can't really identify with at the moment. So showing up for yourself as a woman, as a man, is incredibly important. And I'll give you an example, okay? When I was a kid, I would constantly feel nauseous. It was kind of caused by myself and being anxious and being sensitive and emotional and not knowing what that means and not knowing how to deal with it. And people in my family kind of being a lot more normal than me, or hiding who they are. And them not knowing how to help me, and me not knowing what's going on. So obviously, I was taken to doctors, and we had house call doctors. They would just, a doctor would come and see me when I wasn't feeling well as a child. And I remember I was going through like maybe the flu, or a really bad cold, something that I just couldn't shake off. Maybe it was the winter, it was freezing, I'm not sure. And the doctor came, and she looked at me, and I'm sitting there, I'm nauseous, I'm like, I have a temperature, whatever. And I'm wearing like this, I remember it was like a tie-dye Mickey Mouse, I think, t-shirt, and it was like ripped. And My hair is jumbled. You know how kids are, they never want to brush their hair. My hair is a mess. You know, I'm like pale as heck. I look like a disaster. I'm sorry. I didn't feel good, but I looked exactly how I felt. And the doctor looks at me, you know, and she's a woman, and probably she was in her 40s or 50s at that point. And she looked at me and she's like, sorry, I need some water. My throat chakra. Just kidding. Dry mouth. I talk too much, that's what it means. The doctor looked at me and she's like, how do you expect to feel better looking like this? You know, and she didn't mean it from a, like, looking down at what I was looking like. She was simply stating something that has stayed with me for my entire life thus far. How do you expect to receive healing from the universe, to receive good energy, to feel better, when you're telling your body to sit there and dwell in this state of illness, you know? And this isn't something that we could get really deep into it, and we could, you know, talk about manifestation and feeling better and everything like that. But in reality, you have to start small, because not all of us know how to manifest. I personally don't. I don't spend a lot of time meditating. I don't spend a lot of time doing those things because I'm almost somewhat afraid of what I'm asking the universe for, because I feel like a lot of us, everyone manifests, but we don't always know what exactly we're manifesting. We're asking for something in particular, or we're manifesting something in particular, but we don't know the cause and we don't know the effect of that on ourselves, on the people around us, on the environment. You know, I don't want to butterfly affect myself into something that I would regret later. So I generally don't manifest. If there's something that I'm working hard towards, I put in a lot of effort. I do the best I can. You know, generally, when I do pray for something, it's gratitude for what I have, gratitude for what I don't have, gratitude for you know, for what I'm blessed with, and just I ask for forgiveness, I ask for sometimes guidance, and I ask for good health for the people that are in my life and myself. You know, for healing of the planet, I ask for that. But generally, I don't ask for specific things, because you never know what you're going to get. You might get exactly what you wish for, but it might not be in the way that you wanted. It might not be anything like what you imagined it to be. And so I try not to do that. But regardless, so I don't want to get deep into like manifesting, feeling better, but I know that visualization helps a lot. And it's something that I do want to work on, like visualizing healing of myself, or healing of people around me. Because you could have like healing tendencies, but not, or healing gifts. Like, I feel like I'm a healing individual and person, but sometimes when it's like on the spot and you want to use your power, you don't really know how to manifest it right at that second. You know, it kind of just like comes and goes in waves. So going too deep into it is hard for somebody who's just an everyday person, right? But the importance of trying to look your best, I think, is crucial, because when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling like a loss of appetite for life, when you're heartbroken, when you're not feeling good physically, and from there emotionally, you know, you might feel not good, and then you don't want to go outside, and then you stop going outside, and you're like kind of depressed, you know, and then you start dwelling on things, and it's like a big snowball effect. And so you need to, and I need to, this is a reminder also to myself. Everything that I post is also a reminder to myself, like a diary, because I am just like anybody else. I will get in a rut. I will stop wanting to eat. I will stop wanting to go outside. Like, there's a lot of things that happen to me, and this is a reminder to me. Like I said, what the doctor said to me has stayed with me my entire life. Not how she treated me, not the pills that she gave me, not what she said about my illness, but that specific statement. She said, how do you expect to feel better when you allow yourself to look like this? She said, put on your best outfit, do your hair. I have your mom do your hair. Obviously, I was too young to do makeup or anything like that, but she's like, clean yourself up, and then see how fast you're going to feel better. And to be honest, it worked. It worked. And there are people in my life that really put in a lot of effort into keeping themselves looking good, okay? And I don't mean that in a sense of vanity. I am vastly against plastic surgery. I know sometimes it's necessary, you know, sometimes it's appropriate. Sometimes, you know, some people are blessed with a nose that unfortunately just does not stop growing. You know what I mean? Like, at some point you want to feel attractive, and I understand that, but like the excessive, you know, the fillers and all the stuff, I'm against it personally, because I feel like it's not healthy for your interior self. I feel like your body either fights it from the beginning, or eventually you're going to have effects from it that you don't know yet and the doctors haven't figured out yet. I'm afraid of those things because you're putting into your body something that doesn't really belong in it. And then there's people that argue, but it's more like fat transfers. I just feel like, to be honest, I'm afraid. Like, unless it's very necessary, like some surgeries are very necessary, like life-saving, and those I understand. But like any kind of elective things that you don't really have to do, to me, they're just frightening, because that's something that I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of doing something, like wanting to look good, and then something happens, you know, or you know, it hurts me more than it helps me, or I just don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, I've struggled with what I think of my nose. I've never thought that my nose was pretty. I always wanted a smaller nose. No one really made fun of me for it, but like my entire life somebody said, oh, you got a big nose. But I've kind of grown into liking it. Like, I can't imagine myself with a button nose. I'm sure I would look better, you know, and more pleasant to whoever's looking at me. But at the end of the day, like, I own it, you know, it's mine. That's what God gave me. So I don't mean the plastic surgery or any kind of involvement like that, but just working with what you have, you know, using a little bit of makeup. It's really the effort. It's not so much what the end result is. It's the effort that you put in to take care of yourself. It's the energy that you're putting into yourself, happy, positive energy of, I care for myself. I love myself. I want to feel better. I want to look better. It's brushing your hair. It's brushing your teeth, making sure your teeth hygiene is good. I feel like tooth hygiene is like the first thing to go when you're down in a rut. I feel you're like, I'm just gonna not floss today. I'm not gonna brush my teeth right now. You know what I mean? And it's like things that you don't see, and they're so important. Showering, simple thing, showering. You know what I mean? Feeling the water on your skin. A lot of times when we're sick, we just keep laying there, you know, and you just like sit in this, basically a bath of germs. You know what I mean? Wash it off. Get yourself a really good smelling soap. You know what I mean? It doesn't cost that much money when you're not going overboard. There's a lot of people right now, I think, because of just how everything shifts, and people are so focused on looking like something that isn't real anymore. You know what I mean? I feel like, leave perfection for Barbies, leave it for dolls. We're not dolls, we're people. You know, we move, our face moves, our structure is different. We're growing, we're constantly changing and evolving. And what you do to yourself, you have a static image in your mind. Like, you see yourself in a picture, you see yourself in the mirror, and you're like, I like this. But you don't see yourself in the wild. You don't see how your face moves when you get fillers in your mouth. Regardless, whatever. I don't want to judge. I just want people to start feeling comfortable with themselves, and to put in the effort lovingly, not like discriminatory, like, I love everything about myself, but I have to change my lips, or I'm going to be happy when I change my lips, or when I change my nose, when I change, you know, when I raise my eyes, whatever. Lovingly, like, I appreciate what I have. I appreciate the things about myself. I see the imperfections, but they're okay, and I'm here to take care of myself today. You know, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you're beautiful. Even if you don't believe it right away. If you tell yourself that you're beautiful, on the 10th time, on the 20th time, the 100th time, you're going to believe it. And it's true, you are beautiful. Every woman, every man, they all have beautiful attributes. What we get into are mental ruts, I think, and then we start to let ourselves go, first emotionally and then physically. You know, we skip the gym, We skip our meals. We skip the healthy meal and we go for something fast because we stop caring about what we're putting in our body. We start skipping very important care, going to the doctor on time, going to the dentist, taking care of our skin. It doesn't have to be, lotions that cost $60, $120. Like, I can't afford any of those things. You know what I mean? Olive oil. Massage your face with olive oil, okay? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much that you could do to make yourself feel better and to care for yourself. It's how you do it. It's not what exactly you're doing, and it's not so much like that you go from looking one way and you're unrecognizable. It's about taking small steps every day to care for yourself. Like I said, it's the emotion and the energy of caring. I love me and I care about me and I show up for me. If you're a lady or even a gentleman, throw on some jewelry. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be expensive things. Like all my jewelry, I make all my jewelry. I do have some gold things that generally like my mom gave me. But like I don't have the price of gold and silver. I don't have money for that. Like I'm gonna start selling them at some point, but like I make, crystal and all sorts of stone jewelry, and like I change necklaces into like chains. Like I like making noise and jingling. Like it makes me feel good. Earrings, like I like that. I get used to it. I love it. Adorn yourself. That's what I'm saying. Adorn yourself. As a gentleman, you guys can wear a chain or a pinky ring or even rings or even necklaces I see men wearing. And it might feel awkward at times, depending on what type of a man that you are or how you were raised or how you grew up. But it's just showing yourself that you care. And then the universe starts to pay you back. Because no one was born with the world not caring about you. It might seem that way, but that's not what's up there. And you have to make a connection with what's up there, regardless of what you believe in, regardless of what your beliefs are, in terms of religion, if you have any. Just a higher power, the universe, the energy around you, okay? That is what takes care of you, and you have to tap into that and show the world that you can take up space, that you're beautiful, that you matter, that you love yourself, and that nobody can just take you out and toss you to the side, regardless of how other people show up for you, because it's so easy to be trampled by other people's opinions of ourselves. And it's so easy to allow them to affect us. And as I'm getting older, I watch myself go through waves of this. Like I could be having a great day and wake up and feel pretty in the morning, right? I could do my hair and yes, like I'm getting wrinkles and lines and I do this to my face and I'm like, look at how my face looks. Like I'm getting creases, and if I sleep funny, I'm getting like creases. Like, and I look at all that, or like my neck is like creasing, like, you know what I mean? Like you see yourself and you can't help but like nitpick, right? And you start comparing yourself. Well, she's my age and she doesn't have that yet, or she has a different, darker skinned beauties are basically don't age, and you look at women of color and how beautiful they are, and it's just like but whatever, you wake up and you feel good about yourself. You finally get yourself to like a point, you brush your teeth, you brush your hair, you put your lotion on, and you're like, okay, I feel good today. I feel good, or like, okay. And then like I'll go on IG or I'll go on something and it'll be like, anyone over 25 is washed out. Anyone over 25 is an old hag. And why would I want anyone like that? And it's just like immediate self-confidence. Like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? And so it's very difficult to stay afloat, especially in today's society, because there's like no appreciation of age. There's no appreciation of wisdom. There's no appreciation of good energy and good, happy people, regardless of their age. Everyone's just like what they look like, and it's hurtful. And that's why I'm telling you this, that we have to show up for ourselves. You know what I mean? I have people in my family who are late 80s, 90s, every day, wake up, shower, jewelry, not really makeup at that point because it's just too much. Too much time, you know what I mean? Breakfast, coffee, like rituals that keep you going. They keep you running. They keep you showing up for yourself. They keep you reminding yourself that you are wonderful. And I'm very sorry that all my messages are so lengthy, but I'm either silent or I talk too much. I'm not ever in the middle. I either don't say a word or I have like 10 pages, single spaced, run-on sentences. Anyway, I hope that you have a good day. If you are having not a good day, I hope that you have a better day and a better evening, depending on where you are. And I hope that if you're not feeling good about yourself, go look in the mirror, tell yourself that you are beautiful. I think you're beautiful. You're a beautiful human. And if you're here judging me, or in the midst of, like, I've seen some comments that I wasn't thrilled about, just don't do that. Don't do that. There's enough pain in the world happening that talking bad to somebody or about somebody for any reason just should not be done. It's all love. And that's all I wish for people is love, happiness, and very good health. And that's it. Okay, bye.